So how long is your contract now?
Till June now on this augmented reality project. I don't know if you've heard about that very much. Smartphones, using clever stuff with smartphones to show off the campus and make it like a living laboratory for biology students.
Okay. So this is just something you're finishing?
This is just sort of something I'm finishing off and helping out with the interviews for the new post, which was this morning and stuff like that.
Yes, and has that been appointed?
I'm still going. I've got one more interview to do this afternoon.
Oh, okay.
And then we shall make a decision.
Okay.
But the trouble is that they're just all, I really shouldn't be recording that, but they were just great. No. They were such great applicants, and they really are. Yeah. It's just choosing. It's going to be so hard. Yeah. But there's potential for like a bit of extra funding, so for like a slightly different post again with the forum project. But yeah, that's to be continued. Okay, great. Okay, so first of all, is it okay if you just sort of say who you are and what your title is here and things like that?
Okay. Juliet Stevenson, and Senior Teaching Fellow in Economics and Head of Student Learning. So part of my role is to look at the different ways that we can enhance learning and teaching with particularly growing numbers of students and particularly increasingly internationalised student body.
Fantastic. Okay, and I understand you've been working a lot with the Students as Change Agents project over the past 2 years that's been going on at the university. How do you feel that kind of collaborative relationship, staff and students, can be so powerful in bringing forward new ideas and innovation in the university?
Okay, well, yes, I have been involved with it for a couple of years, and I think it's a fantastic project, and I'm very keen that we should be developing it and advancing it. I think to start with, I think an important thing is to say that when we're looking at the university, that students are a key group of stakeholders. You know, if we look at the stakeholders across, then and their voice must and should count. Why do I think it's particularly powerful is I think they bring with them new ideas and new perspectives, which is hugely important, and indeed we hope that's why they're here and we're educating them precisely because they're going to be the leaders of the future. And I think finally the reason that it's particularly powerful is that they work with their peers. And I know as an educator that I can stand there and I can pass information and I can try and engage students, but actually coming from their peers is often what's finally going to persuade and engage other students. So I think that's hugely important. So to give you a particular example, I was involved with a newer student, who was working in the business school on a project. And that was an example of where we started with the idea that we wanted to increase the use of technology to support our learning and teaching. Again, back to larger numbers of students and increasingly internationalised student body. And we were really interested to see how can we do this that's going to be a benefit to students. What are they going to get out of this? And where can we take this project forward? And so one of our students took this up, and he was the one that went away and designed a piece of research and actually investigated and thought through the issues, possible impact, how it would affect students, and really asked useful searching questions, some of which I wouldn't have thought about myself, because he was on the receiving end and he knew what it was like, and he knew what it was like to go to a lecture with 350 students and whether or not students were able to feel comfortable at putting their hand up and asking a question, or how often they needed materials, particularly coming up for revision time, or what kind of technology might be useful to enhance tutorials and seminars. So he had a lot of really good ideas about what we should be exploring. And on the basis of his project and his research, where he gave a presentation to us after about 5 months of doing this project, we got some really, really useful data, and I've been able to use this subsequently when I've run workshops and talked to people about the benefits of using technology. And I say, one of our students did this wonderful survey, because one question people always ask is, if you, for example, record lectures, and that's one type of technology we've been trialling, and every time, without fail, when I present this to other academics, they say, if you record lectures, surely your students stop coming. And he did this piece of research, and of course he asked those questions. Does it impact? answer no, it doesn't impact, and that's my own experience as well. They do still come to my lectures. And he asked them why. You know, why and how do you continue to use the technology in the lecture recording? And what he found was essentially they either use it for revision purposes, or they use it, for example, when they've got some particular piece of assessment coming up or some assignment perhaps partway through the course, particularly useful for international students where there might be a language issue and they want to go back and hear something again, or simply there was something that was quite tricky, some piece of economic theory or mathematics, and they want to go back and have a chance to look at it again. And when he asked them what would be the most important thing that determined lecture attendance, they said it's the lecturer and it's the content of the lecture. So that piece of information and that research of his was so useful, both in helping us take forward this technology project, and secondly, when it came to disseminating it and persuading other people and sharing our experience. So using our students' research was absolutely essential to being able to move on with that project.
Fantastic.
That's it.
Thank you very much.
That's me done. Yeah?
That's really great.
Yeah.